Welcome back to A Conversation with Her. My name is Felicia Brown, and I am excited to have my guest with me, Amanda. And I met Amanda through our mutual friend, Pamela. And so I am so excited that she agreed just to be on my show. So, Amanda, thank you so much for agreeing to be on my show.
I am really happy to be here, and I am so glad to count you as friend, even if it is a new budding relationship. And I have watched a few of your shows, and I really enjoyed them.
Thank
so
you.
I'm really excited to be here and share my story.
Yes, I'm excited for her to share her story. So, okay, tell us a little bit about your story.
So about 7 years ago, which just seems like yesterday in some ways and like forever in other ways,
Yes.
I was diagnosed with Wilson's disease. And that is where my body doesn't process copper properly. So instead of it being eliminated through the body, it builds up in the body. So it can either build up in your liver or in your nervous system.
Okay.
So when that happens, for me, it's in my nervous system. So I have issues with tremors and with speech sometimes, and a long list of other things. And sometimes brain fog, which is why I have notes here today. So if y'all see me looking down, that's the brain fog happening. So grace. If you see me twitching, it is not your screen, it is me. So that's basically Wilson's disease in a little nutshell.
Okay, that is good. All right. So tell us just a little bit about your journey and how God has kind of allowed you to be able to live in the new normal that you're in.
So I guess when I came to doing this, my whole thought was like, what should I share about my story specifically? And the word that came to me just last night was that I want people to know that there's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to being disabled.
Okay.
There's nothing scary about it. I know a lot of people, their knee-jerk reaction is like, I'm gonna pray with you, and then you'll just, be healed and life will just be all roses again. But I think we miss something when we just try and skip over the suffering, because God tries to teach us something in those spaces. And I think any athlete will tell you it's in the struggle,
Yes.
when you're building the new muscle, when you're learning a new routine or trick or whatever, that you discover something new about yourself and your craft. And if you allow God, you can learn a new thing about your relationship with Him, and see His greatness and His strength carry you through. And that's where my heart is when it comes to sharing about Wilson's disease, sharing about some of the things that God has brought out of that, and hopefully they will be some things that help our listeners today.
I think so, and I just, love what you just said, because so many times when things happen, we just want to crawl into a ball and cry, why me? So many times, and I'm pretty sure you've had that moment, but I just like that you said, well, this is my new normal, so what can I do?
Yeah.
How can I be a blessing? And I can't wait to get into a little bit more of her talk, and we'll talk about this cute little vest she has on in a little bit. But because you are really being a blessing, because of what has happened to you, you've just become this creator of art and design. Like I said, we'll get into that a little bit more, but yes, to share your story on that.
Yeah. So my vest, my bracelets, and I even have an anklet too. They all help me with my tremors. So the vest is about 6 pounds, and the bracelets are about a half, as well as the anklets. And they all just help me with my proprioception. That's your big word for the day, which just basically tells my body where it's supposed to be in space. So normally, Felicia's demonstrating her body is relaxed. It knows that it's supposed to be relaxed because that's what her brain is sending signals for right now. For my body, it kind of decides randomly that it wants to flail out an arm, or move my head, or my legs kick out or whatever. So it doesn't happen all the time, but the weights help tell it we're relaxing. We aren't trying to do all the other things. We can just live in our space. We don't have to be everywhere all at once. So that's one thing that has come out of everything, and some of it has been like came into me in dreams from the Lord, and I can't say that I really understood him the first time around. He had to keep on explaining it, and I had to keep on sketching and trying it out. This is like the third iteration, and I'm working on a fourth iteration right now. But these are coming soon sort of thing on the Copperless Chick.
Yes.
So,
and I will list her website, her company's website, so you can be able to order some things. And like I said, this vest is very fashionable. I tried it on. I love it. And then I think we were talking, like you could wear it around the house if you're wanting just a little something to give you that little extra workout, a power little workout. You can do that break. Put the vest on, vacuum, do your cleaning, and you're getting a little bit of workout there. Or walking outside, it'll be good if you're going to go for a walk. There's just so many ways that you can use this beautiful vest, and like I said, it's very stylish. I love it.
I had a friend try on the bracelets the other day, and by the time we were done hanging out, he's just like, "This is really heavy." So you can also give your arms a workout too.
Yeah.
So it's just passive training, essentially.
And I like it.
But I also wanted to share with you about what it's like to live with a chronic illness, and something that is actually a product that I'm hoping that will be out in August.
Okay.
So I'm still working off of my own editing process, because I'm going to go, I think, through Amazon, which it'll be up on the Copperless Chick, which Felicia has so nicely decided that she would just add to her page. So this is my own little mock-up that I have right now, just a binder, but it's about scheduling your spoons. And for those of you who aren't familiar with spoon theory, there's a great gal, I don't know if I'm going to remember her name right, Christine something or other, but she has lupus, and she came up with the idea of spoon theory. And what it is basically is a way of communicating with our loved ones, and for us to understand ourselves how our energy works. So I have like a little display of spoons for you guys to see. So this spoon could be for brushing your teeth, washing your face, getting ready in the morning. This one could be for just getting breakfast, and so on and so forth. Each activity that you go through each day costs a spoon. So after you've taken it, it's gone. There's no more there. And as you go through your day, you're just slowly eliminating spoons. And they all look different, and sometimes they're not very helpful because they're more of like a sieve. I don't know if you can see that. Than they are an actual helpful spoon. So you kind of like lose space, and you never know how it's going to all play out. But by the end of the day, you can be, well, that's perfect. You can be down to just one little spoon, and you have to decide whether you're going to make dinner or if you're going to take a shower, because those are the choices you're left with at the end of the day. So I made this planner to help you think more about not the tasks, but what your body can really handle. So each day you start out with a certain amount of spoons. Like I have in my little jar, you start out with a certain amount and say, okay, there's 6. I have it just kind of more like a average, so I have 1 through 5, and you sort of break it down piece by piece by piece of like what things would qualify for those amount of spoons. So like today is a 4-spoon day for me, but I'm using it here, and I know that I'll use the majority of my spoons, so it means probably the rest of my day is probably going to be resting, and that's okay. And then I have an auxiliary list for each week that you just fill out. 1 through 5 of different tasks that you're hoping to get done that week to help you think through. So when you're having a 4-spoon day, you know what 4-spoon activities you should be doing rather than wasting time on like maybe a 1-spoon activity. So it's just a different way of working within your limitations. And this is something that God has been working on me about, because our culture really, really likes to emphasize getting results and perfectionism. And when you're living in a space where you're really limited, that's not realistic anymore. And I honestly don't think that was ever God's design. No. I don't think he ever wanted us to work, 1, alone, and 2, out of a space of working for others in that way. And we have a way of reaching out to Christ and asking him every day to help us, guide us with what is the next thing. So I also encourage my the people who will be using the planner to reach out to Christ with each activity and ask him, is this the right next task? Because he has the best view of where the path is going. And when we trust in him and we lean on him and count on his strength, when we let him be the builder of the foundation of what we're doing, then we can really thrive. There's a psalm about it. I didn't memorize it, so
Okay.
it's Psalm 127, and it is, here, I'm going to find it. So, unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it in labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep. So we are his beloved, and so he gives us sleep and he gives us rest. He's not asking us to act out of our lack without him. He's saying he wants to do the building. He wants to help us do the building and the planning, and that's part of how we should be planning our days. And so many times we get caught up in what the world says our day should look like, and that if we aren't dropping by the end of the day, if we haven't done every last little detail and planned every single last little minute, we aren't living successfully, or we aren't really achieving our dreams, and we're just lazy. And there is space for rest. God rested on the seventh day. And I think that speaks really loud. And there's so many places throughout the Bible where he talks about how important rest is. And it's even more so for us with limited abilities and energy levels.
Yes, I think we just deplete ourselves, and it's really sad. It's passing down to the children.
Yes.
Through sports and just so much. They're just depleted, and nobody really has anything to give, and they can't really give it. I mean, they're really not giving it to the Lord because they're tired. They're just really tired. So I think what you said was very profound there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Wow. Okay. So tell us a little bit else about your website.
Okay. So at the Copperless Chick, we like to think of ourselves as a whole person. So instead of segregating ourselves out into this is my spiritual corner, this is for my mental and intellect, this is for my physical, they all touch. They're all important. And so at the Copperless Chick, we believe in helping people holistically. So that's why we have the planner, we have the vest and the bracelets, and actually, I just realized. This is kind of like a little secret thing, but we actually are working on meditation cards. So it has an image that goes with each verse, and you can meditate on the image as well as the verse to give a little bit more clarity. And for me, I'm a visual person, so I like to see things and try and imagine, what God's really saying with the verse, because I think sometimes we just say verses like I just did with building the house, but when you see an actual picture of it, it kind of changes everything. So that's actually one of the ones that is in the set. So I've just got a cross being the foundation of a house and being the center of the home, and that's what I think of when I think of that verse, is just remembering that he is the foundation, the builder. He is our rock which we stand on. So I
love these cards.
Thank
they
you.
are really neat, because it's nice to visualize kind of what the verse is saying, and then you can truly meditate because you have that visual there to be able to see. Oh, this is so nice. Well, I am so excited about your website. And then you said it started off as a blog.
It did start off as a blog. So there's a lot of little things for how to cook with low copper, and simple smart swaps is what I call them, because a lot of times you find out you have this long list of can'ts, because there's actually a lot of foods that are high in copper, and actually it's really hard to find a food that doesn't have some form of copper in it. So, but you can say, oh well, I can't have that and I can't have this, and then I can't eat anything. But those are just things that you're used to.
Yes.
And it's about also submitting to God and having that perspective switch, and letting him show you what food he has that's good for you and that will nourish you and give the energy that you need. And so that's kind of what I've based on and like kind of journeyed with. It's being transformed literally from the inside out.
That is good.
So it was a very like tactile lesson. God knows me best. He knows I learn best through experiences.
Yes.
So that was a really deep experience for me to like have to transform the way that I eat, that it wasn't just, you know, like go grab whatever you want. And I had to really think about what would be nourishing to my body. And that was also a helpful, another perspective switch to be like, oh, I'm nourishing my body. It needs good fuel. You don't put like diesel in a Ferrari, you know?
Like, and there's so many things that, I mean, we just need to do as in society today, because the food that we eat is not very healthy and good for us. So it's nice that you are nourishing your body, and that we all need to take a page from and just nourish our bodies and to eat the food that really God has given us, and not just fill it with so much junk and preservatives, not the good stuff. So
Preach.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any last words you would like to share with the viewers before we end?
I actually have one more verse I feel like I should share, and it's 2 Corinthians 12:9. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me. And there is no place I'd rather be. And this is why I'm not afraid to be disabled, because I know that God is stronger than me, and he will fill in the gaps for me. That I don't have to have it all together, because he's got it all together. I cannot tell you how many different ways in different places with things where he has shown up where I didn't have enough to keep going. So just take that hope that he is there with you, and he sees you, and he made you perfect the way you are. It doesn't matter whether you have a disability, or rather if you have some sort of thing in your past or in your present. He has got you, and he has made you perfect just the way you are, and he only wants to have a relationship with you and help encourage you to become the son or daughter that he has made you to be.
Amen. And I just love just your attitude, because so many people, they throw a pity party, and like I said, I love your boldness for Christ and how you are just giving him all the glory in the midst of, you know, your suffering or your new normal. And you're not letting that stop you. You are persevering. And I just, like I said, I just love by what you are going through, you're able to help others with your designs. They're beautiful. And I know I work in the medical field, and I think we have this conversation. Sometimes things are very blah. They just give you blah stuff. It's to help you, and they don't think that you want to, you know, be fashionable or look nice or just nice. It's not necessarily about fashion, but it's just, I want something pretty. I want something nice. And I like how you're changing. You're changing the fashion for the disabled. And you're giving them nice things to be able to wear that they can wear with pride.
Yes, to feel good about yourself, because that's part of your identity when you wear stuff. My background is in costume design, and you learn a lot, like, because you're developing these characters, and it's so important that what they're wearing really expresses the character that they are. And a lot of times if you watch a film, you can watch how this person is growing and blossoming, even just through the clothing, if you pay close enough attention. And so that is definitely a huge part of my passion for why I put these things together, because I didn't want to wear one of those weird little running vests, and they were uncomfortable and ugly, and I was just like, no, thank you, please. So I was like, there's other options if we just stop thinking about it in little boxes, and like start seeing how things could connect and how disabled could be really beautiful, like kintsugi. You know, if you have not seen kintsugi, you need to look it up. It's a Japanese art form of fixing ceramic. So instead of just gluing it together or stapling it together, they would actually put adhesive, but then they would also cover it with gold. And so it's kind of like, I think it's a really good analogy for Christ, and like how he's the gold pieces that are showing up in all of our broken spots and putting us together.
Amen. So like I said, I will leave a link down below so you can check out their website. Right now, as you said, I don't have a lot of things.
Yeah, no, not yet.
No.
Everything's kind of in process at the moment. The planner will be the first thing, and then we're trying to figure out how to do the cards, and then the vest and the anklets and the bracelets are all to come. They're all coming down the line, but we did want to come up ahead and just share already.
Well, all right. Well, thank you. As always, I like to leave you with a little nugget of truth. When I wanted to give up, God said, get up. God has a purpose and a plan for you. Find it and walk in it. Thank you. Bye-bye.